You're listening to Kids Ministry Answers from Stuff You Can Use, from Stuff You Can Use, from StuffYouCanUse.org.
Welcome to Kids Ministry Answers. My name is Jason.
And my name is Linda, and this is a podcast where you ask the questions and we help you find the answers.
All right, Linda, how
Hi.
are you? So good to be with you.
Yes, it feels like I haven't seen you in a while.
I
don't know why
I was
that
just about to say,
right?
like, I was really looking forward to doing this because this is like the only time we get to hang out.
I think it's because we used to have regular one-on-one meetings.
Yeah.
And we don't have that anymore.
Yeah.
So I'm so glad I get to hang out with you today.
Yeah, we love talking to, of course, our listeners about Kids Ministry Answers, but we're also using this as a
We mostly love
time
hanging out with each other.
for us to hang out with each other. So just know that, listeners. So good to be with you. We're going to be chatting today about empowering a very important group of people. So naturally, my question for you, Linda, talking about empowerment, let's talk superpowers.
Okay, I see how you got there.
Yeah. Kind of have to, move around a little bit, but we got there. Superpowers. If you had to choose just one, because I know a lot of people want to be like this and this, or I would like combo this with this. No, we're talking just one superpower.
Okay.
Which one would you choose?
I instantly went to coupling two together, but I will just pick my top fave.
Okay.
This is also a really great timing because I just rewatched Encanto with my son because he's an only
Such a
child
good
this week
one.
because my older one is at camp. And so, I mean, I want to say like, no, I don't need superpowers. The miracle is me, if you've seen the movie. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Powers would be great. I would choose.
It's a cop out.
I admit. So I would choose teleportation.
Whoa,
Just because I would I live in Los Angeles, everyone. So I do sit in a considerable amount of traffic. And to not have to do that, and I can just, boom, go to the store, boom, go to like Koreatown, boom, whatever. That would just be amazing. Like, I can probably do a lot of good things with this power as well. But for me, it's mostly the not having to drive in traffic thing.
Yeah.
What about you?
Teleportation is a good one. It actually it makes me rethink mine.
Oh, okay.
Because it kind of accomplishes the same thing, like getting somewhere very quickly. And actually teleportation, you would get there faster. But I won't. I'll keep mine.
Yeah.
What
what
I
is
thought
yours?
about. It's boring, but I would fly. I would have
That's
the power of
classic.
flight. It is classic. And the reason for it is that and I don't know how you feel about this, Linda, but when a superhero doesn't have the ability to fly, to me it's like, is that person really even a superhero? Like, if they could teleport, I'd be like, okay, this is legit. This is like tier 1 superhero. But
got it.
if a superhero has to walk
I know.
or
take the
run
bus.
places, take the bus, to me, I'm like, okay, well, are we really even doing it? So I don't know.
Yeah.
That'd be the one that I would have to have just to put me in that top level of superhero.
Just so
in my
you can
mind.
say you're a superhero.
A real
it's not
one.
even about
Yeah.
the flying.
I'm not taking the bus, y'all. I'm not taking an Uber to get to
In
the
my
crime
super
scene.
suit?
I can just
No.
fly there. Actually, yeah. So we probably won't be getting these superpowers anytime soon. Unfortunately, I don't know. Teleportation.
We'll see.
Maybe that's coming.
I mean,
but
let's pray about it.
Yeah, but great segue here. We do want to make sure that our volunteers feel like superheroes.
Hey.
See what I did there?
Hey.
Yep.
Nice.
When they work with us in our ministry. So with that in mind, let's hear a question for today.
The last few months, I've been really focused on refreshing our kids' area space. So painting the hallways, doing different projects within that. And so I've been really focused in on that. But it revealed that a few things have slipped through the cracks in the process. And I really want to refocus on empowering my volunteers. How do I empower my volunteers in kids ministry to do more, to lead more, to help me with leadership?
Wow.
Thank you for the question. This question came from our friend Amanda, who I got to meet really briefly at an emerging leader session that we do also here at Grow. We do a lot of cool things here. So hi, Amanda. Thank you for your question. This question, I really felt this one because At my previous church, overwork was kind of expected, to the point that our volunteer motto was Revelation 2:10, which was the thing that talks about be faithful until death.
Wow.
We didn't even focus on the and you will receive the crown of life part. No, it was just
You
be
ended
faithful
it with the
unto
till death.
Yes, till death.
Okay.
Till death do us
Wow.
part, my friends.
All
So we
right.
did a lot, but it wasn't true empowerment, because what was embedded in a lot of that was like there was the illusion of choice, or there was guilt for not showing up, or feeling sanctimonious because I showed up and that person didn't, so I'm better. And so there was just a lot of tension, and I didn't really feel like, so as a volunteer, I didn't feel like I had a lot of autonomy and a lot of creative freedom, but at the same time, I didn't feel the need to do more, because I felt like I was already doing a lot that was asked of me. So I think giving leaders ownership in the way that Amanda is looking for, such that motivation comes from them, is so key, and it's very not easy. Yeah, I'm with you, Amanda. I feel this in my bones.
Yeah. I felt this one too, but kind of for a different reason. I think Amanda, even in the question, is kind of explaining one of the reasons why empowering our volunteers is so hard, is because it does require focus. It does require a lot of intentionality, and not just like at the beginning of our relationship with volunteer, but really throughout the whole time as we're asking our volunteers to do more and more. But in ministry, obviously our focus, like Amanda pointed out, is going to shift to other things. So we really have to have like systems in place, structures in place, so that this empowering can stay on track when our focus is going to shift and go to other things.
Yeah, it's not just like a hype, like a one-time hype situation.
Yeah, and if it is, then our volunteers are totally going to feel that. So all this being said, it's so great that we have Elle Campbell, co-founder of Stuff You Can Use, and she is going to be with us today as a guest to talk about just that, how we can empower our volunteers.
It's going to be good.
So let's check it out. All right, well, what can we even say about Elle? I mean, avid reader. For me, best book recommendation person. That's the first person I go to.
I'm so honored.
I'm sad you're not in front of your books right now. Like,
I know, I'm
is
so
a
sorry.
sight to behold.
Board
They're
games
over there.
in fact. Avid board game person. Avid knitter. If you need a sweater, you need a scarf, Elle is the person to come to.
I made this.
She knit
I made
sweater
this.
that she's wearing today.
Case
Just
in
as
point.
an example. A person with many hobbies, a person with many talents, and on top of all that, brilliant when it comes to ministry strategies. So we are so happy that you're here with us today.
Yes,
Elle.
welcome,
Oh my
Elle.
goodness. I am delighted to be here. It is a joy and a treasure. I've been on the Kids Ministry Answers podcast before, but not
You
with
sure
Jason.
have. Oh,
Or
that's
no,
true.
was it with Linda? Wait, who interviewed me?
It was me. It was
wasn't
me and
Linda
Damien.
Yeah.
It was Linda
Wasn't
and Damien.
me.
Okay, so this is my first time being interviewed by Jason, and I'm
Wow.
delighted.
What
I
an
can't
honor.
We'll see how it goes. Well, yeah, we're so glad that you're here today. And as we mentioned before in the intro, we're talking about intentionality when it comes to our volunteers. So I wonder if you'd be interested in starting our convo here, talking about one of the key parts of volunteers, which is the ask. It's kind of like the first step when it comes to interaction with our volunteers, is actually asking them to do something. So
Yeah, that
what
makes
can we
sense.
kind of keep in mind when we're giving a volunteer something to do?
Yeah. Well, I love this question from Amanda. Amanda, hi. Thanks for submitting this little question, because this is such a fun and important conversation. Like, I think as ministry leaders, we all, I'm sure, have been in the spot and probably are in the spot right now of like wishing our volunteers cared more, of like, could you just like do a little bit more, be more involved, whatever. And I mean, I don't know, like, I think you guys have all been volunteers in ministries before you were like on staff. I was as well. And I think we sometimes have to like mentally go back in time to the days when we were volunteers, because it's easy to forget like what that experience was like. It's like once you're the person in charge, you're like, can you guys just do your job? Like, can you just show up and like do all this work? But when you're a volunteer, that whole experience is like very different. So I think it's important to just like mentally be able to go back there, And so for me, when I think about when I first started volunteering, I was not a particularly engaged volunteer. Partly it's because I was like a teenager. I started volunteering when I was younger. But I would just show up and like, I don't know, like, what are we doing today? What's going on? I don't know, like barely aware of what was happening, which I think is kind of normal for most volunteers. But for me, there was like a specific moment where I like got it, where I thought, oh my goodness, like they're actually asking me to do something that I'm not doing. And I want to do it. I like want to engage. Like I want to be a good volunteer. I don't want to just be like some dummy who shows up and takes up space. And so for me, like the thing that I would recommend for Amanda, but also for all of us is when we're thinking about volunteers and wanting them to take more ownership, more responsibility, the most important thing that we can start with is to ask big, make a big request of your volunteers. And by that, I don't mean like just ask them to do more work. That's not necessarily going to work. What I mean is like ask them to do something big, like do something that is meaningful, that is like exciting, that gets them passionate, because people don't want to just show up and do busy work. That is not inspiring. That is boring. That is dumb. But people do want to do something significant. They want to do something that they know makes a difference. And so whenever we're making a big ask of our volunteers, I think it's being able to tap into the thing that is the why behind what they do and making that like prominent for them. So for me, as I was a small group leader, and the thing that got me was when our ministry leader was like, guys, this was in a youth ministry, fifth graders, but they were in the youth ministry. And our youth pastor was like, I am not their youth pastor. Like you guys as the small group leaders, you are the youth pastors, because the kids in our ministry, like they're not going to know me personally. This is coming from the youth pastor, but they're going to know you. Like you are going to know their birthdays. You're going to know their parents' names. Like you are the youth pastor more than I am. And so for me, that was the thing that was like, oh, that's like a really big request. Kind of terrifying because I was in 11th grade. And I'm like, I don't think I was supposed to do
I'm a
that.
pastor? What?
Yeah.
Who said
I go
that
to
aloud?
seminary.
Like, I don't know about that. So I'm not going to use the title, but I do understand the concept. But I mean, that like changed everything for me, because it was no longer just, hey, can you just show up and like corral these 10-year-olds and make sure they don't like fight each other for an hour. It was, no, you actually like are pastoring these kids. So for me, that was like the thing that flipped the switch for me, that turned me from a casual volunteer into like a fully engaged volunteer. And it was just knowing like the big thing behind why I was doing like what I was doing. And I think especially when we are in this spot where it's like we need something, we need our volunteers to do something, we like just kind of knee-jerk react to be like, hey, can you just like do X, Y, and Z? And what I'm saying for this is like we really need to back up and get to the heart of the thing and figure out how to recast that vision in a way that is big, because people want to do something that is big, because something that is big is probably something that matters. So ask big. That's my first thought.
Yeah, that's so good. Yeah, I have like a similar moment when I started ministry. I was a youth intern, so I wasn't exactly a volunteer, but like a glorified volunteer, you know?
Yeah.
If you knew how much I was getting paid, you know,
100%.
like a glorified volunteer. And I was volunteering, or I was working with Brooklyn Lindsay, who's also on staff at Stuff You Can Use. And she put me in charge of this prayer labyrinth and gave me some duct tape, gave me a room to do it in, told me like what it was for. And I was like playing Led Zeppelin as I was putting it together. And it just hit me like, I'm in charge of this. Like, this is a prayer experience that me, Jason, I'm going to be in charge. I'm going to be leading this. And she really like let me use my personality to put it together. And that was eye-opening for me, because I was like, man, asking big made me realize that this is where my personality is not only welcome, but like she wants me as a part of this ministry, you know? And so that to me was a moment like that, where like the asking big really helped me to see like, oh yeah, like I have a big part in what we're doing here.
Yeah, that's so interesting, because my experience is kind of the opposite, because I was thrown into leadership really early. I wasn't a volunteer. I was voluntold, as many of us are. And I was hit with the gravity of everything I was in charge of, like just straight up. Like, this is important because you are changing lives and what you say matters. When people see you in the grocery store, they're going to know you're their leader. So you better be careful what you're buying. Like, it was like that
Oh
level.
my. Oh my.
Yes. So I think because of that, like, as
Hold on.
a
What
leader,
kind of controversial things are you buying at the grocery store? Like, what's happening? What?
not even controversial things, guys. They're
Just
like,
eat healthy.
yes, eat healthy.
make
Don't
sure you
buy
get healthy
junk
stuff.
food.
No
like, stay
junk food
away
allowed.
from the spirit aisles, like things like that. And so anyway,
The spirit aisles.
yes.
It took me a while to figure out, like, spirit aisles.
yes, not the Holy
What a
Spirit,
good
the
name
other
for it,
kinds
though.
I
of
forgot
spirits.
you can get that in the grocery
definitely.
store. Okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah,
All right, go ahead.
100%.
So, like, when I became a leader, I was trying to be different about it. Like, oh, wow, having the weight of it on me was just too much. So I was actually totally guilty of asking something big, but like making it really small.
Yeah.
So it'd be like minimizing the ask, like you were saying, Elle. It's like, can you just like show up? It's only an hour. Like, it's totally manageable, no pressure. You don't have to do a lot. But then I thought I was protecting them from getting overwhelmed. But I think what ended up happening is it made the whole job feel very unimportant. Like, oh,
Yeah.
I don't have to do this. It's not that big. So
I could
what
be
I'm hearing
here or
from
not.
you,
Like, it doesn't matter.
exactly. So what I'm hearing from you and is that when you ask big, you're letting them know that like your role is significant, and so like don't take this lightly.
Totally.
Yeah,
Exactly.
so, absolutely. So that was really great. So I think that's kind of related to the next piece of advice you have prepared for us, which is something else we do when we go for the soft sell, right? Yes. Tell us more.
Yes. Yeah. So once we ask big, the other thing we really need to do is to recruit well. And so the example that I gave in like my personal story is I was already a volunteer. I had already been recruited, but I was being asked to like level up and do more, But if you don't have enough volunteers or you don't have the right volunteers, then you're going to have to go back into recruitment mode to make sure that you actually have the right people on your team who are ready to like take on the kind of responsibility that you're talking about, right? And I think for probably everybody, when we are feeling like the crunch of needing more volunteers and like needing them fast, it is really tempting, like Linda was saying, to like ask for less because it's like, man, I just need more like warm bodies in this room right now. And there's a time and a place for that. But if you are trying to recruit the kind of volunteer who like is going to take on leadership and who wants this like big responsibility, you cannot recruit that way. If you're okay with that kind of volunteer, and that kind of volunteer does work well in certain situations, like if you're just like, hey, I need greeters at the front door and I don't care how often you show up, or like I need somebody to, I don't know, like pour coffee at the cafe, like that's a great time to kind of put in those like low commitment volunteers. But because Amanda is looking for people who will take on responsibility, Amanda, it's possible maybe you don't have those people yet. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. But if you don't, you might have to go like and recruit some. So when you are looking for that kind of leader, be really aware of the type of language that you're using and just like the type of sell that you're doing to try to recruit them. Because if you are minimizing the job and if you're making it seem like a super simple task, you're not going to get the kind of volunteer that it seems like you're looking for. And, not every volunteer is going to take on the kind of responsibility that you want them to take on. So you just have to emotionally just prepare yourself for that. And to know that that's okay. Like if somebody's not ready for that kind of commitment, cool. You don't need everybody to have that level of commitment. You just need a few people. So the thing to think about is like, how do you identify the people who will take on that level of responsibility? And then how do you recruit those people in particular? So that's what I would say about that. Recruit well.
Yeah, and I also think that it's important, the thing you said about being like really clear, because I think a lot of times in ministry situations, we're tempted to do the bait and switch, right? Let's just get them to say yes and be like, just kidding, you're going to see this big thing. And for me, especially being at a small church, I'm like, I can't afford burnout. Like I need my people to know exactly what they're doing and know what they're signing up for. And so just to be transparent like that is really great. So you talked about like how we do often just be like, we just need some adult presence in this room.
Yeah.
Like, how would you recommend ministry leaders talk to people about like joining the team instead of just like begging people to please fill the seats?
Yeah. A great question. A wonderful question. So, I mean, again, if you are looking for the kind of volunteer that just like takes up space, then whatever. Say whatever you need to say to get them in the room. I don't care. It doesn't matter. But if you are
Bribe them with candy.
Yes, bribe them with candy. Please give them a background check, though, at the very least. Just make sure you're the best. But okay, if you were talking about recruiting like quality volunteers who are like really invested, I think one major thing that we sometimes fail to do is that we fail to cast vision for like the positives and like the wins that are already happening in our ministry. And we focus on the need and the lack. And when you are recruiting from this place of like, oh man, like we just don't have enough people. Honestly, the thing people are going to think is like, well, what's wrong with that ministry that they don't have enough people?
Right.
Like, there must be something really wrong that people don't want to go.
I don't want to do it. Nobody else wants to do it.
Right. Like, it's clearly not the cool place to serve, so I'm not going to go over there. But if you're coming from this place of like championing the amazing things that God is already doing and the wins that you are already having in your ministry, people are like, oh, that seems cool. Like, they're doing good stuff and I want to be a part of that. Exactly. It's coming from a place of like inspiration. And also like you're not guilting people, because I don't think guilt is a very good motivator. It might get people in the door temporarily, but it is definitely not a good long-term motivator. Instead, the thing to think about is like, okay, so if guilt's not really going to do it, like what are the motivators? And I mean, for me, I think about like purpose and joy and belonging and like all of these like good things. And those are the things that I think we can highlight when we are recruiting for volunteer positions, because that's the kind of thing people want to be around. They don't want to be around Debbie Downers.
Absolutely.
You know? Totally.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. When I hear you talk about recruiting in this way, it makes me, especially when you're talking about like identifying your volunteers. In my experience, like when you use that I just need people technique to like put people in discipleship roles, especially, it can really like demonstrate very quickly how detrimental it can be to not fully like know your volunteers and understand their strengths and weaknesses when you're trying to identify where they might fit in your
And it's
ministry.
a disservice to your students too when you put people in like that. Yeah, for sure.
Right, and I think it's also a disservice to the volunteers you have that are really good and that you want to keep. Like, if you're like, hey, you're awesome, but like all these other people are at the same level as you and they're kind of whack. That's not very inspiring or motivating to the people who are like, I think I'm a really good small group leader, and you just recruited the weirdest person I've ever met to be a small group leader. Like, be respectful of your current volunteers, please. Yeah,
exactly.
Recruit well.
So even when, like, not if, but when we recruit well, we can't really expect like our volunteers to come in and be like fully equipped, have all the knowledge they need to do the things they need to do. So what is sort of like the next step? So you recruited a volunteer well, and then they're ready to jump in. What do we do next to make sure that they're ready to go?
Yeah, well, you do definitely have to train them because nobody just, comes out of the womb knowing how to be a great ministry volunteer and work with children. So somebody's got to train them, and they're probably not home Googling it. If they are, you should give them bonus points. Like if they're home listening to Kids Ministry Answers in their spare time, awesome. You want to promote those ones.
Yes, if you are a volunteer listening to KMA.
We got you right here.
Good job. Tell your ministry leader you deserve a promotion or at least an extra ministry t-shirt or something.
Nicer candy.
Nicer candy. Let's go.
Candy upgrade.
If you haven't listened to the other episode I did go on a rant about candy quality because don't give your volunteers Hershey Kisses. That's like the bottom of the barrel candy.
Seriously.
Like give them good stuff.
And like two, no less.
Yeah, two, exactly. A handful at least.
You're right. Or the mini-size versions of candy bars. Like what are we talking about? The really small ones, Like like the
No, those
single
are
packaged
terrible.
Hershey pieces. Like that's
Yeah.
like breaking
No.
a square off the Hershey
No.
bar. Like what are we talking
It's like
about?
a candy bar
That
for
only
ants.
comes out during trick-or-treating. That's
Seriously.
it.
Those are going straight into
That's
the
right.
trash can at Halloween. Everyone knows it.
Goodness. Guys, I'm so glad we agree about this. These are good
I'm
hot
so
takes.
glad that we are,
Okay.
giving such valuable ministry training on kids.
Yes.
Throw
Hey,
away
that's
the Hershey
important, man.
Kisses. It is,
Yeah.
you know?
Hershey Kisses are out. Candy corn. Not doing it.
Don't do it.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. I was like, where are you
So
going with the candy
besides-
corn? Because we might have to fight.
We might have to fight. Besides the candy that you purchase, you do have to train your volunteers in some other ways. So, okay, the first thing to think about is like, in Amanda's case, she's talking about wanting to kind of have like, it sounds like a vision reset. Like she's wanting to call volunteers into this like new level of responsibility for the first time. And so in that case, you're probably going to need to do a vision reset, like or just sit down and have a conversation. If it's a whole ministry thing, like you need the whole ministry, every volunteer to step up their game, then you probably want to do like a vision casting event or meeting of some kind. But if it's just like a handful of people, then you can just do that over coffee. There was a point in time where we really needed to do this on a big picture ministry level. And in our ministry, we had 2 services and we were at a larger church. So I think we ended up we had like 70 small group leaders. And we're like, man, we could do a vision casting like day and get everybody there. But, what about the people who don't show up? And like, I don't know, is it really going to sink in? And for us, we were at such a critical juncture that we really needed them to get it that we, oh my goodness, I can't believe we did this. But we had coffee with every single one. There was like 90 minutes times 70 or whatever over the course of
90
however
minutes
long.
Wow.
a
Guys,
piece.
That's a
Well,
lot.
because you have to
That's
get
a
coffee
lot.
or lunch, and then you have to sit
Right.
That's
there
a
and
lot
you
of
have to like,
coffee.
And you have to get past the small talk.
Exactly.
You were awake
I
for
was so
months.
caffeinated for a whole summer. But listen, we put in the investment and it was really important that we did. And so for us, we definitely got a really great return on that investment because our volunteers did, in fact, like get the picture and get the vision. And like our whole ministry culture shifted in like a fairly like short amount of time for all of the changes that we're making. But if it's only just a handful of people, that's way easier. You could do that in a week or 2 weeks. But sit down and like have that conversation. For us, we brought with us like a copy of our volunteer handbook that we had just redone and kind of walked them through like, hey, this is actually the job description that I would love for you to do. And with every job description, it was like, here's like the win for this job description. It's like, this is the goal. This is like why this description matters. Like this, why this role matters. And just come prepared and don't just like give fluffy language, but give some like concrete steps and expectations. So that's kind of like the first thing is like a vision reset of some kind, but also recommunicate that vision on an ongoing basis so that they don't just be like, okay, remember that one time 3 years ago when my ministry leader got all jazzed about this idea and then never mentioned it again? Like, don't do that. That's not good. Keep recommunicating it. And the clear job descriptions that I mentioned are super, super important because if you have expectations for this volunteer in your mind, but you're not clearly communicating them, like they don't know if they're failing or succeeding. And that feels bad to them. And it probably feels bad to you because you're probably like, this person is not stepping up the way that I wanted. And they're like, I don't know what you want. Like, you just tell me what you want and I'll do it. So be really clear. Think about like a code of conduct if that's important to this type of role. Think about even thinking in like a 1-year commitment or maybe less, maybe more, depending on what the role is I think that gives a lot of safety to the person because they're like, it doesn't feel like it's a thing that goes on forever. They're not signing their life away, but they're like, okay, we can reevaluate in 6 months or in a year and be like, do I like this role? And if I do, I'll keep doing it. And if I don't, then I'll try something else. But just think about those like structural things to train them along the way and also give them off ramps if it's not working out. Is what I would say.
Yes, off ramps. I like
Yeah.
that.
Mhm.
I think that's great. Amanda's question was about like focus, right? And what I hear you saying is like focus communication over and over and over again because assumptions and like unclear expectations and those small things, they start off small, but then if they are allowed to linger, it keeps on getting bigger and bigger until you're like, what is going on? And that person's like, what's going on? So the more detailed you can be in your communication, the better.
Yeah, I also loved your advice about having a handbook, a code of conduct, because on the surface, these things might feel like, oh, you're so restrictive, but it actually helps volunteers operate more confidently because the expectations are clear. Like they know what they're doing and it's all written down and it doesn't feel like random and getting like piecemeal things as I go on the job. So I think that's really helpful. I think I want to add something here is as a ministry leader who's been in the game for a very long time, I think at some point it is really worth asking as someone who has been there, like sometimes like we do skip on that training because it is time consuming, right? It is a lot of work, especially if you have 70 volunteers with whom you're going to do 90-minute meet and greets and one-on-ones with. But apart from that, just because you just like, oh, can you just like anticipate and be intuitive and just read my mind? And so I think sometimes like, what if I'm the one that's unintentionally keeping my volunteers small by not offering this training? And because, like, I'm not stepping back, like, they're not stepping up, right? And so I think this is a really good way to, like, pause even in the way that we do our own leadership and be like, wait, am I actually giving them all the tools that they need? So this is really helpful advice.
Love it.
Yeah. So, okay, we are doing all the things. We're on the way to empowering volunteers. What is one last thing that we should be doing?
Yes. The one last thing is support them. And this is different from training. I mean, training is part of it, but like there's so much more to supporting your volunteers than just giving them the training. Like training is information. It's like the helpful stuff that's going to tell them what to do and how to do it. But support is all the other stuff. And especially for volunteers who you are wanting to take on like big leadership roles, this is so essential. So, I mean, first of all, think about like emotional support. Your volunteers, I don't know if you noticed, they're volunteers. They don't get a paycheck. They do this for $0. In fact, they're probably going into some kind of debt, you know, supporting your ministry. They're like bringing food, they're like buying supplies, like they are basically paying you to work for you. And that's really weird. So let's just acknowledge that it's really weird. It's a weird decision to be a volunteer. And for you as a ministry leader, like you've got to be so aware of that because what they're getting out of their service is not money. It is negative money. And they need something that's going to like fill them up, that's going to feel like, oh, this is actually worth my time. And so for that, like, I think emotional support is a really, really important thing. Like, think about the thing that you know is motivating your volunteer to be there. Is it like community and belonging? Like, if it is, which I think is a totally normal and valid thing, people want to be part of like a community, then what are you doing to make sure that they're connecting well in like your community of volunteers? If it is like affirmation, like they really like need to hear from you that they're doing a good job. Like, okay, so put it on your calendar, like give yourself cues to make sure that you're doing that for them. But you have to like know them individually in order to understand how to support them emotionally. So like do it, especially the ones who you want big commitments from. It's not going to be every volunteer. So the numbers are going to be a lot smaller. So hopefully that's easier for you to manage. But like treat them as if like you're their small group leader, you know, not like they're your employees and you're like the owner of a giant corporation or something. Like, no, don't do that. That's not good. No, please, please. So there's like this emotional support that you can give them. There's like this relational support. Now, I know as ministry leaders, like anybody in ministry knows that it is really hard sometimes to separate like work and ministry from personal life. So I'm not saying you need to be everybody's best friend and be available relationally for every single person. Do not hear me say that because I would never do that. So I'm not going to tell you to do it. But just like think about these volunteers that we're asking to be like the leaders in your ministry. Just know that like because you're asking them to do more, that you probably should give them more relationally of yourself than other volunteers. And what exactly that means, I'm not going to spell out because everybody has a different capacity, everybody has different boundaries. But just know, like, they probably want to be close to you in some way. And as a volunteer, like, that is a valuable thing that I think you can give them within your own personal boundaries and capacity. And then lastly is professionally. Support them professionally. That could be training, like we've talked about. But in general, I think sometimes as ministry leaders and in the ministry world in general, we are sometimes lacking in professionalism. I don't know if anybody can relate to that.
What? No way.
We're just a bunch of clowns over here.
Never happened before. And I'm not saying, I mean, I think you can tell from just our conversation so far, like, we're down with like having fun and being silly and like being normal humans. But there is like an element of professionalism that often gets missed in ministry. Things like just being clear about what expectations are, like we talked about. Things about like just professional communication. Like if somebody is not meeting expectations, handling that in a professional way and not like a weird personal passive aggressive way. Like, don't do that. Things like giving them responsibility, but then taking it back, and like, learn how to delegate well, learn how to communicate well, learn how to give helpful feedback and do that well, and also invite their feedback. Like, part of being a professional is like knowing that you also as the leader can grow as well, and so invite feedback from them and take it seriously. So don't become, like, in your head a Fortune 500 corporate CEO. That's not what you're doing.
Not at church.
Not at church. You could do that in your real
outside
life.
of church.
Yeah. But just like add some professionalism, my friends, because it adds to the feeling of safety. And it removes some of that like toxic relationship stuff that can happen in ministry, where people, they just develop like weird relationships sometimes with you as a ministry leader, and we don't always know what to do with it. So just professionalism can help solve some of the toxicity that happens in ministry.
Yeah, I think that's so cool to talk about, because I think that one for volunteers, you can feel it. Like when there's not a balance of the silliness that you need to have if you're doing ministry for kiddos and youth, but also like if you don't have the professionalism in your communication, if you don't have that balance, it can seem like a real like nuance, but actually like your volunteers will feel it very clearly if you don't have the balance. And so I think that's very important to keep in our heads, is like, hey, I need to be professional in my communication, in my expectations, in the way I'm training, because if I'm just silly all the way through, then this is going to be wild to be a part of.
Yeah, and the support piece, I think, is where a lot of the disconnect happens for ministry leaders and volunteers, because like usually people don't leave when you have a good relationship with them, unless they have to, right? But like they leave when they're like, I don't feel valued here. I don't think my leader really sees me. I don't really feel like I'm a part of the team. I remember at my previous church, like those of you who have heard me talk about this before, like it wasn't a healthy place. And so a lot of my leaders did not want to be there. They all wanted to leave, but then they stuck around and they volunteered for the kids. I remember having this little like roundtable discussion with them, and I was like, what's keeping you here? Like, I don't want to force you to be here. Like, but what's keeping you here? Like, something's keeping you here. And every single one of them was like relationship. Like, I love our team. I love what we've built together. I love working with you. I love our kids. And so if that piece is not something that we're intentionally supporting, then it's really easy for us to get surprised and blindsided when people are like, bye.
Yeah,
like,
totally.
Why? And so like to add to that is like, it's also important as a leader to really just be on alert, constant vigilance, as some might say, right?
Yeah.
Because like you don't want to be reactive only when a leader begins to show signs of stress or disengagement, but like just check in regularly and really care about their person and not just their performance. So I think these are really good things for us to think about.
Yeah, it's like this support in all the ways you spelled out. It really, we had it as the last thing, but to me, it's like this is what shows a volunteer that they're invested in something that has substance. Like back to my story about Brooklyn and the Prayer Labyrinth and Led Zeppelin and stuff, like that became one of her favorite stories to tell about our time working together in ministry. And I remember even as a young, just starting in ministry person, the recognition and the thoughtfulness that she put into that, like telling that story to others and like how my personality came through and feeling that support and that empowerment. That was the thing that like inspired me to do more in ministry.
Yeah.
So to me, it like communicated like this is something of substance. Like I'm
And
being
you're still
supported
friends,
here.
and you still work together.
Yeah. We're still friends to this
Cute.
day.
Wow.
What a story. Well, we have talked about so many cool things, so many cool pointers when it comes to supporting our volunteers, making sure our volunteers feel empowered. We started out talking about how we ask big, make sure you're asking for big responsibilities. We're actually placing stuff of substance in our volunteers' hands. We want to make sure that we are recruiting well, thinking about the strengths and the weaknesses of our volunteers as we're putting them in different spots to do ministry. Then we need to train them up, make sure that we're giving them all the knowledge that they need. And lastly, but certainly not least, we want to surround them with support so that they feel the recognition, and that will lead to more empowerment as they go forth in ministry. Elle, such an awesome conversation, so many great pointers, and how we can do this intentionally, thoughtfully, empowering our volunteers. Important conversation, and it was so great to hear all these things today.
Yes,
Love
thank
it.
you,
Thanks
Elle, for being
having
here.
me. It was
Yay.
a treat. Always
This is
love
so
a reason to
fun.
hang out with you both and
Yes.
talk about wonderful, important things like this.
And candy.
And candy.
And
We did
candy.
come back to that a couple of times.
Totally.
Always a pleasure, Elle. Thanks for sharing your wisdom with
Thanks,
us. We loved
Elle.
having you here.
Bye, buddies.
Bye.
See ya. Such a great conversation that we had with
absolutely.
Elle. Yeah, so many great things like that I know in my ministry I'm going to take from that and actually apply to actually giving empowerment, because I think this is something that can slip if we don't honestly keep like a finger on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And a lot of things that we talked about, I think, are things that we probably do know to some level, but it's really nice to have it organized like that for us to see, oh, okay, these are the things that I could do better. And so I really appreciated that from Elle.
Yeah, it's like the switch from having empowerment as like a mindset to like a practice.
Yes.
I feel like there's a lot of stuff in that, in what she said, that like will help us with that. And she did mention the volunteer handbook, which is a resource that we have for you at Grow. So be sure to go check that out at growcurriculum.org, and we'll also link it into our show notes.
Yes.
So without further ado, Linda, it's time for the show.
The long-awaited segment.
The long-awaited segment. What is it that you are into? Is it something new? Is it something cool? Is it something, some people might think is boring, but we are definitely not. We definitely don't think it's boring. What are you into these days, Linda?
Jason, everything I'm into is cool, all right? I'm just going to claim
cool. It is always cool, for sure.
So what I'm into currently is Trader Joe's is not sponsoring this podcast, but they should, based on the number of products.
We'll take you, Trader Joe's.
That we get from them. But I just found the hot honey popcorn. I think it's new.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I mean, those are weird words strung together. They don't belong together. It probably tastes interesting. So I just grabbed a bag. And while we were watching Encanto yesterday, I could not put it down. It was so good. Like, I just can't even describe how good it is. Like, think about if you like kettle corn or caramel corn. Like, think about that, but better.
Okay.
And not
I do
as
have
sticky.
questions. I do have questions about this.
Okay.
So, what is the ratio to heat and sweetness? Because that's the thing.
It's actually more sweet than spicy, which was a little bit disappointing for me as someone who loves spice. But you know, when it comes to popcorn, it really doesn't need to be super spicy. So I think the balance was perfect, and I don't say that about a lot of foods. So
wow.
rest.
I'm
Run,
gonna have to
don't
get
walk.
some.
Trader Joe's, everybody.
For sure.
Tell them I sent you. Tell them this podcast sent you. Maybe they'll
KMA
sponsor
sent
us.
you. It won't give you any discount or anything,
No.
but you can just tell them.
Yeah, just be fun for them to
Yeah.
see. Let's see how many Trader Joe's gets KMA listeners in them.
That would be cool.
What about you? What are you into, Jason?
Okay, so I love the ones where you do food because that really is like, I'm going to actually go out and get some of that. So,
Right? And it's also, we usually record around times when I'm very hungry, so. Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, what I'm into, I'm currently into chess again. My 6-year-old shepherd somehow picked up an interest in chess.
Okay.
Both my sons, 6 and 11, can beat me in chess. So
I mean,
don't know
I've
what that
seen you
says
play,
about me.
Jason. I
No.
don't know that.
Okay, I've gotten tons better since then.
Okay.
I think it was that performance that actually made me like, okay, I got to figure this out.
Okay.
I
I'm proud
gotta
of
figure
you.
this out.
That's
But-
an accomplishment.
Oh, okay, but yeah, I can still get beat by my 6-year-old, my 11-year-old, so I don't know.
I
where
mean, I
we're at.
think that's still a flex because that means your kid's a prodigy.
Maybe that is how I'll choose to think about it.
Yes.
And the other thing,
Either way, it's a win for you.
yes, and the other thing I'm into is Night Agent on Netflix, which I totally think, Linda, you would love this show.
I love that you're so convinced I would love this
It's
show.
like, but you have to enter into it in the right way. It's like you're kind of making fun of it as you're like enjoying it. You know, those kind of shows where
Mm-hmm.
that is totally what the Night Agent is.
Okay.
Like, it has a good storyline, but there's a lot to kind of laugh at and poke fun at the same time, which makes it really fun for me and my wife to watch.
Okay, you have talked about Night Agent before to me, and
Mm-hmm.
so I have seen the first episode.
Okay.
I haven't gotten past the first episode because
You were
I was
out.
so
You said, I'm
confused.
done.
I was so confused, but I haven't ruled it out. It's still there on my list of things to keep watching because you talk about it so much, and I want to talk about it with you. So, yes,
Yeah, and
I
that's
will
part
one
of
day
the fun,
come to you
too.
and be like, I finished it all. Let's talk. And it might be 3
Okay.
years from now, but just wait. The day will come.
Well, it's in season 3 now. So if you've only watched episode
There we
1
go.
of season 1,
All right. So, yeah, at this rate,
a
I
lot
think
of
3
work.
years sounds,
There's a
3
lot
years
of work
sounds
that we gotta
accurate.
do.
All right.
Oh,
When we're in
cool.
season 50 of KMA.
We'll have watched all of the Night Agent.
Yes.
Who knows how many seasons they'll have done by now. So, Linda, thank you so much for this conversation.
Thank
Always
you.
cool to
Always
hang out
fun.
with you. And big shout out to Amanda, of course. What a great question.
Yes. We hope this was helpful.
Yes. And Elle for sharing all your knowledge. Thank you so
Yes.
much.
Yes.
And if you have a ministry question that you want us to talk about here at KMA, just send us a voice message at kma.show. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Bye.